So despite there being so much different information out there around nutrition and diet, like if you just walk into Barnes & Noble bookstore, you can find the diet book section, and there is literally a wall full of diet books. And many of them are very contradictory, which makes things really, really confusing. But here is one thing that I found that most nutrition experts would agree upon, and that is we should all improve the quality of our foods. There's very few people out there, despite what their beliefs are, that if we eat more quality food, the chances of us getting more healthful is going to be much, much better. So why don't we all start there? Instead of starting with how many calories should I be eating and how many grams of carbohydrates and how many grams of proteins and how many grams of fats, instead of starting there, why don't we just start with the quality of the food? And here's what I found after doing this for many years, almost 20 years, just strictly focusing on quality food makes all the difference in the world. Most of the time, and I'm gonna throw this number out there, I'm gonna say 90% of the time, if you just fix the quality, you never have to worry about macros. You never have to worry about calories. You never have to worry about getting into the weeds of micronutrients and macronutrients. Like, you don't have to do any of that stuff. It becomes much, much simpler. So at the end of the day, when it comes to nutrition, when I work with one of my clients, when they come into my program and they work with me, the very first thing we do, the foundation of our whole nutrition program, is quality food. What does quality food mean? I think that's sort of the next question, right? What does it mean to eat quality food? Well, here's the prescription that we use. And I like the fact that it's kind of broad and general, because if I give someone too specific of parameters, it becomes more challenging. So here is our broad general prescription when it comes to nutrition. And write this down: meat, veggies, nuts, seeds, and fruit. Meat, veggies, nuts, seeds, and fruit. Those are the 5 categories that you want to pull the majority of your choices from. And you might be thinking, well, what kind of meat? It doesn't matter. What kind of fruit? It doesn't matter. What kind of vegetable? It doesn't matter. You get to decide the things that you like the most and plug those into your life. If you're someone who doesn't like chicken, so be it, no big deal. You don't have to eat chicken, just find a different meat that maybe you like, right? So again, fix the quality first. That's where we start with all of our clients. What does it mean for quality? Meat, veggie, nuts, seeds, and fruit. And then we can go up to other levels if something gets stuck. And what does it mean something gets stuck? Well, that's based on the individual. A lot of people these days, one of their biggest complaints, well, there's 2, but one of the biggest ones is weight loss. We tend to collect extra body fat. So when we fix the quality of the food, we see the weight start coming off, the body fat specifically. We see that start coming off, and we're gonna ride that as long as we can. We're gonna get the body fat to come off as much as we can, and then there might be some sort of a plateau, right? You might have, a 20% body fat, and we may need to drop it another 5 or 10%. So we may need to make some small adjustments, and I call them therapies, but we never give up on the quality. That's always the foundation. Meat, veggie, nuts, seeds, fruit is always the foundation, but then we can add in some other things on top of that, like timing. When are you eating? Intermittent fasting. There's different things, different strategies, different protocols that we can use, different tools in our toolbox that we can apply once we have that beautiful foundation built. And that will help us to sort of accelerate the process or break through some sort of plateaus, right? So we might implement in some sort of a timing strategy. And then the second thing that we can do, another sort of strategy that we can use, is maybe quantity. We can take a look at how much you're eating, because it's still possible to overeat even if you're eating really high quality foods. The likelihood is just much, much lower. So we may even look at that, right? And there's some other things too that we can look at overall when it comes to nutrition. But again, I don't want to get too into the weeds here. Let's keep this simple, and we keep it simple for our clients. Let's just focus on the quality of your food. Focus on that first. Make that priority number 1. And there's a really good chance that's all you're gonna need to live a really healthful life. I have not counted a single freaking calorie or tracked a single freaking macro for almost 20 years. I'm 48 years old. I'm 10% or less body fat, depending on the day. I'm right around 10%. And I perform really well. The numbers from my doctor are really good. And I've been able to sustain this literally for most of my adult life. It works incredibly well, and it works for others just like you if you're watching this. If you're willing to do this, and a lot of people think it's too simple, it should be simple. It shouldn't be complicated. If you're willing to do this, it's gonna be a game changer. I guarantee it. It's gonna be a game changer if you can hold yourself to those standards. Meat, veggie, nuts, seeds, fruit, so simple. All right.